That one got a little crazy because it was giving me a hard time trying to launch it on Facebook.
Oh, no.
So I just had to start yelling into the void.
That usually fixes everything. All computer problems. Just start screaming.
Woo, let me close out of that now that I got that. Oh, wait, hold on. There we go. Welcome in. Thank you for joining us on a Friday. Hope you had a good week, a better weekend to come as we obviously await the return of football. Thankfully, college football. A little amuse-bouche tomorrow.
A little teaser, yeah.
Just a little taste.
A little hors d'oeuvre.
What is to come.
College football.
Yeah. And then the following week, but a week and a half away from football or NFL football. Tyler, how are you doing this fine Friday evening?
Yeah, doing good, man. It is the weekend is here, so that's a good thing. Looking forward to catch whatever sports I can. Gonna get into the Premier League. Of course, we got that. Before the international break starts up, like you said, we'll taste of college football.
First place.
Yeah, true. But yeah, a little college football. Of course, MLB playoffs going on. We've got the final race before the NASCAR playoffs start, which I know we've kind of been neglecting that a little bit this year. But hey, sorry,
NASCAR has kind of had a weird season, and it's definitely going to be a weird off season. We'll say that
for sure. But all in all, man, I'm doing good. Ron, how you doing today?
Doing well. A lot of DraftKings. DraftKings is my entire life now. So, Thomas, can't wait for you to come over. We can use you. You got a strong back. We can use you. Join the team so that we can split up some of this insanity. Divide and conquer.
It's just all you right now, isn't it?
Well, my boss / coworker is still there for now, but her days are ticking away too. They did internally come up with a replacement for her position, so at least I won't have to wait, like 2 weeks for the onboarding or whatever. This person already works for the company, just somewhere else.
Gotcha.
It's going to be weird, though, because they work in the New York office. So, they'll catch a lot of the stuff early in the morning, which is nice. But then...
Oh, yeah.
But a majority of the stations and stuff is all on the East Coast. So, just because of the legal sports...
Big Mad Dog Russo people?
Big Mad Dog Chris Russo! I don't have a good Chris Russo. I'm sorry. But
you just scream into the camera. That's all you have to do a Chris Russo.
Yes, exactly. Taking a look at some of the early comments. Shout out to CEO Nick. It was in the pre-show production meeting. Of course, suck at mosquitoes very much. I have doused myself in spray, and I have the Thermacell going. I'm still going to get bit, but hopefully just trying to minimize the damage here. Nick, pretty hyped on the Jets-Eagles preseason game, the last preseason game. So it could be a big one. Big one.
Yeah.
And, of course, beach handball for life. He is our beach handball insider. So
for life until you get banned again.
Yes. I wanted to start off with, I know we talked about on the last show, and look, I mean, I'm not saying I totally expected it to play out this way, but I'm not surprised just because Padres are kind of in rarefied air right now. There was a lot of heat on this, a lot of hype, especially even, after the first couple meetings between these two teams. There was a bunch of good games, close games. Padres even got a sweep at one point. But the polish has come off of that turd as the Dodgers vanquished them, swept them last night. Padres reeling right now. We fired the pitching coach about a week ago now on the off day of all, fired on your day off.
You get fired on your day off.
It's not looking great for Jace Tingler, who is just appearing more and more by the day as a patsy here. But, just someone's going to go, and it's not going to be Machado or Tatis. They're not going to fire them. I'm just going on a limb and assuming that they would not fire those guys. So satisfying for me. And, yes, some Schadenfreude, enjoying the once loud and brash Padre fans having to eat it. But I did see on ESPN They put up the stat. Their win or their playoff probability went from 91%, I believe, at the All-Star break, and now it's right around 20, based on whatever. Everyone has their own metric. I don't know if it was Fangraphs or whatever, but
this is what we got for Baseball Reference here.
Baseball Reference, also obviously it's in the name. Great reference. And some big movers and shakers here, although Tyler did point out some of these are mutually tied together. In the case of the Reds, going from, and this is in 30 days, from a 7.8% chance to make the playoffs to 82, while the Padres go from a staggering 89.6% down to 11.8. So things are moving fast, and then also the Mets.
Yeah, life comes at you hard. I mean, it's it was definitely a odd series to watch, and even just beyond the stuff on the field. Like, you remember what those crowds were like to start the year? Like, that place was rocking, and it was a lot of Padres fans showed up. Granted, kind of as it went on, more and more Dodgers fans showed up, but like those first games, like tons of Padres fans, place was rocking. It became Dodger Stadium South again. Like, it was overwhelmingly Dodger fans. The Padres fans seemed disinterested. In fact, there were videos of Padres fans getting into actual fist fights, which shame on you Dodgers fans. Shame on you Dodgers fans for forcing Padres fans to fight each other.
Or as Franco Hita pointed out, maybe it was a plant,
buying
Padre jerseys to make them, damage their reputation.
Could have been.
It's a long setup. It's a huge inside job. But
yeah, I mean, there's definitely something going on in that clubhouse. I know you and I kind of chat about it. It's everything that we said was speculation about like, I know there was a podcast that came out, a Padres fan podcast that kind of said, hey, we've got some word that like Hosmer has kind of turned this team against management, and we don't know. Look, maybe there's truth to it, maybe there's not. Who knows? I still think, like, Tatis, he's playing way more hurt than they're letting on. I actually almost feel like they're only playing him so he can accumulate games and not miss out on the MVP trophy, because why else would they be? Like, he doesn't look like he's enjoying it out there. He looks hurt. His swing is definitely off. Like, he's missing pitches that he normally wouldn't miss. So there's just so much going on in that clubhouse right now. And it's, I mean, like you said, it is a bit of schadenfreude how, Padres fans were talking all kinds of shit at the start of the year, all off season, start of the year, talking all kinds of shit. It's like, it's a long season, bro. It's a long season.
Into this series too, it's definitely just with, again, purely speculation. I don't have any, confirmation on what is going on in their clubhouse. It certainly seems like something is off. Even if you're trying to shake things up, it just seemed like a weird time to fire the pitching coach. We've had a lot of injuries on that pitching staff, particularly the starters. The bullpen still has been pretty good. I mean, statistically, throughout the season. So that hasn't really been the downfall. But yeah, it just seems like there's some kind of clash going on more than what we know is going on. And then on the flip side, you have the Dodgers knowing they were probably going to get Mookie Betts back at some point during that season in whatever capacity, but he's still an important part of the team, just having him around in the lineup. It's a down year, but he's been hurt pretty off and on, throughout the year. But
still hurt, I'm sure.
I'm sure, yeah. But then you get Scherzer, snatched right from the jaws of the Padres, who is now, I believe, 4-0 in his 5 starts with the Dodgers. It's just two different, like, tangents right now, like total different trajectories. I don't know if the Padres can pull out of it. We'll see. But I just think there's a very strong chance that a lot of people are going to get fired if they don't.
Well, look, if there's any time to do it, the Padres kind of have to do it now, because, like, I was listening to John Boy's show on YouTube earlier this morning. They always kind of go over the schedule of teams for the rest of the year, and like, they've got the Angels this weekend, they've got the Diamondbacks to start next week, and then from there it's like all Dodgers and Giants. So
yeah,
this is the time for them to get it right. I actually see they are currently up 3-0 against the Angels right now in the 4th inning. So looks like they might got something going there. The Angels coming off of a sweep, being swept by the Orioles.
Mm.
Uh,
So maybe the Angels are the get-right team of record right now. Like, that's who you want to play.
Yeah,
if you're licking your
that's
wounds, go play the Angels.
Yeah, did your team just bat 0-9-0 for a 3-game set? Well, here you go. Here's the Angels.
We got the answer for you. And Diamondbacks also a punching bag, although they've
been playing good lately, though.
been playing well lately, and they've been playing well against the Padres lately. Even before this whole like weird cloud of bad vibes, started to emerge. Yes, it was kind of after the Hosmer thing, if that was in fact, which we don't know, part of
We
it.
don't know.
And it is definitely a weird, like, separating. I'm Hosmer. He's not like a bad guy, but he does seem to kind of have like this little cadre within the clubhouse with him and Manny. And Manny's a good player, but he's just kind of a distant, like,
he's a dickhead.
Hesitate to say like aloof kind of guy. Sort of like you're not really gonna get, I don't know, like a true like team captain, like rah guy. Like you get a guy that's pretty good. He's gonna show up and hit like maybe 280, give you 35 home runs, but then he's just not. He doesn't want to talk to anyone. Kind of just like looks like he's always sort of pouting around. So
he leaves work at work, is what you're saying.
In a way, but maybe not the best kind of, if those are in fact the leaders in the clubhouse, like, thing to point to. Tatis, I do think, is certainly feeling. I mean, look at Bellinger. Look at the season he's having, and I've seen a lot of people talking about his injury, and he had the surgery.
The same injury, yeah.
And there, people that have had it and did go on to remain productive. Even a lot of them have said it took, almost like a year, even when I was back playing, to like be comfortable swinging. So Tatis, as we know, has not had the surgery. He's just trying to play through it, or they're putting him out there. I don't think he's crazy about playing in the outfield. I think it does kind of seem like a little bit of that too. Like, well, if I'm playing, then let me play shortstop. And it does also kind of seem like him being in the infield sort of does just keep, he's dealing with the ball more. Like, yes, there's the errors or whatever, but just more like energy, pep in his step, whatever you want to say. I saw him kind of like sort of give up on a ball yesterday that hit the bottom of the wall that he probably could have made a better, he's only played like 6 games in the outfield. Some in center field and some in right field too. So, that's an adjustment even for a mega talent. But it's just a weird vibe going on. I don't know, with that team. And I'm sure we'll find out more after the season, whatever happens, playoffs or not. But it's not looking great, I would say, for the Padres.
No, and definitely it, losing with high expectations will certainly bring on, fans calling for changes, but especially after the ridiculous 16-inning game, which
some have called it the death of baseball.
Yeah, if anybody stayed up to watch that, my sympathies, because we both stayed up to watch it, and I kind of regretted every second of it, even when the Dodgers won.
I thought there was I know, it's not like I'm just like listening to the show every day. I used to hear it more when I was having to, drive to work or when I was working at the radio station. But, I became somewhat of a Rome sympathizer, just because his show doesn't take itself that seriously. It's more of like a break in all the hot take, like, let's talk about LeBron, let's talk about the Cowboys. Like, they just do whatever weird stuff they want to do sometimes. And he started off his show the next day with a rant about that game because it was so insane. Some parts good, some parts bad. But at one point, he did say,
a lot of bad.
A lot of people have asked me, is this the best game I've ever seen, or is it the worst game I've ever seen? And the answer is yes.
Yes,
so
yeah.
That's pretty much the best way I could sum it up, because there was so many terrible things that happened. Insanity, like Dodgers setting the record for intentional walks, attempting to balk on purpose once and not getting it and then just
Not
balking
getting it,
again.
so you do it again. Yeah, that was
Like the Padres running out of any position play. I mean, it was just insane. That whole game was historic, but not great.
So that last point you said was actually what I was getting to. Was after that game, people are absolutely calling for Tingler after running out of bench players in the what I believe that was the 10th inning when he made like 3 subs in the 1 inning. So yeah, people are calling for Tingler's head. And again, it was kind of bound to happen just because the team again started out so well, and really since the All-Star break have just fallen off a cliff. Right now they're 2 games back out of the playoffs. Might even be 2.5. I don't know. Yeah, the Reds won, so 2.5 games out of the playoffs technically.
Well, if you bring in a guy that's never, I mean, he's a baseball
It's
guy for sure.
never managed, though.
Never managed in the big leagues, and you just spent all this money on the team. It's like we got to blame somebody here now that the expectation is certainly risen, and he unfortunately is probably going to be the guy to fall on that sword.
Yeah.
And there's no way no one was planning for 16 innings. Like, I regretted watching it afterwards. I know Tyler and I
100%.
both were like, just let them both lose. No one deserves to
give
win.
them both a loss. That's it. Yeah.
7 for 50 something and runners in scoring position combined. But he just it was unfortunate because he did the double switch that moved the pitcher, and then he had to start like rolling it over, and then it's like, all right, you're gonna run out of guys here. So then you have like Musgrove coming up with the bases loaded and extra innings. Like, oh boy, this ain't good. And you're already kind of like, putting your feet to the fire a little bit, and that's not the best look, especially because they all hate the Dodgers too.
Yeah, I've actually been surprised. I've seeing the fan base kind of turn on Preller's or not Preller, Tingler's not that surprising. I've been shocked seeing the fan base kind of turning on Preller though, because this is a guy that like even as recent as the off season, like Padres fans are screaming, this guy's a god, blah blah blah, like the status means things. Now after this All-Star break, it's like, Preller, what the fuck are you doing? Like, we need a change up here. Like, it's
the
pretty,
interesting thing
I don't
is,
think he's going anywhere.
I think he staved that off when it was very close to that was pretty much the case without saying as much, but because he did start pulling the trigger, all the prospects that he was hoarding, he started flipping them to get, proven talent and stuff like that. I know everyone's bashing him for not getting a starting pitcher, and who knows what happened with the Scherzer deal. It was like very much on the table, almost done. And
inches away.
Would not be surprised at all if, there's been rumors that maybe with the hours they had left, the Nationals just kind of put it out there like, well, but if anyone wants to give us more, this is what they're going to give us. And then Dodgers come in with more.
Yeah.
So who knows? Again, that's a speculation. But I think he's safe for now. But, yeah, that it's funny that you can go from, like, the fans were very much against him until, like, the last offseason he started making all these moves. And then, again, like, they're still just, like, bringing in guys. And now, just because of this little window from the All-Star break to now, everyone's kind of, like, turning the heat up on him, too. But I do see we have on the Celebrity Hotline, in fact, the Tito Auto Body and Used Tires Celebrity Hotline, the CEO of the program, Nick, joining us. And I did want to, well, first of all, Nick, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing amazing. My dog just crapped on the floor where he's not supposed to, so kind of angry. But as always, I pay tribute to Landon.
Well, there you have it. That's what Landon thinks about that. I think that is a fountain that just, somehow they came up with this fountain that only puts out human misery. That's what he drinks. That's what he feeds on.
Yeah, clearly.
But
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Doing well, better than the Padres for sure. I don't know if that's a Padres shirt you're wearing. Or just,
that's why I actually called about this.
Well, before we get into, actually, if you have some Padre, take you want to get off your chest, go ahead and let it fly. Because I wanted to go out on a lighter note as it pertains to the Padres.
One, like, just I was listening to 97.3, and just hearing some of the fans now just really doesn't make sense. Like, when there were 17 games up, I know they had just lost the series. They got swept by the Rockies. You're like, oh no, this is it. Like, tank the season. I was like, but you're 17 games up. Like, you guys haven't done like this since in 2019. You weren't even like, we were nowhere
Over
near
500,
this.
right?
Yes, over 500. Yes, over 500, of course. But then, like, and that was back in what, July. Now we're in August, going to September, and fans, I don't know if fans are just not used to them being good, that they don't know how to take this. There's just too much. There's a ball of emotion. Like, now you're just like, hey, we can keep this together. We're not out of it yet. We could still catch the Dodgers. It's like, listen, after losing series to the Rockies and the Diamondbacks back to back, your last concern should be the Dodgers. Right now, you just have to win to maintain that second wild card spot. And I'm just like,
No, they don't
oh my
have
God.
it. They don't have the second wild card
Exactly.
spot.
And
They're out by
now they
2
don't
games.
have it. It's like, after that, you should have been looking over your shoulder and like focusing on a Reds hot red team, no pun intended. Just just your focuses are all over the place. Your thought process, what you guys want, is all over the place. Like, just let the season play out at this point, because one minute you want the team like scrap when they're 17 games above 500. Now it's like, oh no, we still have a chance. We just got to keep strong for this. The pitching will come through. I was like, And plus, like, the whole mental aspect of the team is just ruined, because you're changing position players. So now you got to think, how does that affect someone like Cronenworth? How does that affect someone like Tatis, who was originally playing shortstop and now is in right field? Possibly also center field. So you got to think, who plays center field? Is it Grisham or it's Grisham? So Grisham's also got to be thinking, damn, like, who knows? I might not even have this position for a few games. Like, do they really trust me in the position? I just, like, the whole mental aspect there is not. It's pretty shitty.
It's interesting because even if it was, like, say we're in June or something, or May, and they had 2 bad series against the Rockies or Diamondbacks, up until this point, it's kind of been like they get right against the Dodgers. Like, they raise their game up and they have good games against them, and they could even, at first it was like a letdown for both teams after those series, because they were just like, I don't know, going way too hard or whatever. But that could have been something to kind of like get the team back going the right way. But now, with the injuries and with whatever supposed drama is going on, you could just see the difference of, like, so we had 2 bad series against bad teams, and then we just got punched in the face by a good team. This could be like the push off the cliff, unfortunately, it seems like.
We'll see with the Angels series. It's only 2 games, but that might also be like, hey, like, this is a struggling Angels team.
Good to feast on the Angels as you're feasting on your dinner. Thank you for calling in and eating. We always appreciate that. Unless if you're eating Canada steak burger, then that is encouraged, or Sabores Colombianos. But not maybe the best radio, or especially when people can see you move. But as I said, I wanted to go on a lighter note here. Last night, they did put up Mookie Betts' first game back. The fun fact that he does not like pineapple on his pizza. And if you have followed the Petco Park Jumbotron fun facts, actually probably one of the best things the Padres have had going for a while, because they always bring the heat in some kind of way. And it seems like they just kind of type them up during the game sometimes. But there's been a few, greats, and I wanted to revisit some of those. Some when I worked there, but it's been a tradition that's carried on. I'm sure that's a very, like, prestigious job in the video room to be the fun fact guy. You got to work your way up to that. It's like you can't just be the guy that cuts the grass. You got to hold the hose for like 20 years before you get to ride the lawnmower. So a couple great ones. This is just in, maybe the last 2-3 years. Mike Yastrzemski, this was a good one. His last name would be worth 29 points if it were a valid Scrabble word. Fun fact. And that would be probably a killer, especially if you get on like a triple word score or something like that. Watch out.
Oh, yeah, that's game over right there.
So fun fact about Big Mike there. Miles Straw, who tweeted an apology to Tim Tebow after making a catch against him in spring training when he was still trying to hump it with the Mets and latch on to his previous, maybe now future again career. I don't know. Fun fact. Nick Markakis says his favorite pizza is potato pizza, and then in parentheses, whatever that is. He wouldn't have said it if it's not a thing. But
Right,
no,
right.
they don't. Look, I don't have time to Google it, so I'm just going to put it out there. Whatever that is, this guy's weird. Fun fact.
I don't ever remember seeing that at John's Incredible Pizza, but I'm sure it's real.
It's got to exist somewhere. I mean, if Nick Marquez, he's eating it, unless he just totally made it up. This was another classic. Fun fact: Fernando Tatis Jr. is good at baseball, so that's a pretty hard hitting one. That they had and you could see this was before the Browns, so this might have been his rookie year. Tommy Edman said he prefers Backstreet Boys to NSYNC. So that's going to be very polarizing.
For sure.
A lot of love, a lot of hate, but he put his foot down, and that was his fun fact on the board at Petco. G-Man Choi believes he has had the G-Man believes he has had past encounters with ghosts. Fun fact.
Okay.
Fun fact. And then my favorite, because this is one where you clearly just do not even have a fun fact about the person, so you just have to come up with something. Was not the winner of the $530 million Mega Millions ticket sold in Sorrento Valley, which I believe was the day before this game.
So do they actually know that, though? Do they really know that?
That's true. He could have stashed it all away. But actually, probably a smart move on his part, because I've seen these shows where people win the lottery, they lose it all, fake family members coming out of the woodwork. So if that is the case, Matt Adams, you played it right. Don't tell anyone you got the $530 million.
If you win the lottery, delete social media, change your phone, lawyer up.
Lawyer up. You better lawyer up. But shout out to, whatever happens to the Padres. I'm sure the fun fact guy or girl will keep it going strong till the end of the season. One of the better in-game production elements that they have going on at Petco. So always have enjoyed that.
It was them a couple years ago when Boston was in town and they trolled them they started playing Sweet Caroline, but then switched over to Never Gonna Give You Up right before the
they
main chorus.
rickrolled all the Red Sox fans there. And this was before the Padres were kind of good. So it was predominantly Red Sox fans, as most games were back then. And let's just say maybe 30% of Padre fans there thoroughly enjoyed it. It was pretty fun.
Well done.
We'll see.
So at least you can have a good time with your production. Shout out to Braden, former member of that Padres video crew.
I think, remember the game we went to, Ron, where it was Will Myers' fun fact is that Padres fans can catch foul balls really well?
Yeah, it was something like that. I don't remember what it was, but they have had some just purely made up ones. I know I was telling Tyler before, they had one when Hunter Renfroe came back as a member of the Rays, and they just did it on the spot, because it was if you look out over to the building behind the stadium, there's a guy with a Tampa flag and a sign that says "Go Renfroe." That was his fun fact.
I would like if they put in fun facts and didn't even try to tie it to the person. Just fun fact: Hannibal crossed the Alps in whatever year.
There was another Renfroe one that was he did meet up with. I think this is when he was on the Padres, or I'm not sure, but that he met up with the other Hunter Renfroe on the Raiders on a road trip and took a picture with him. That was the fun fact.
That is actually kind of a fun fact.
Yes, but the line of fun and fact is always a fluid situation with that board. So keep doing what you're doing, fun fact guy. But do you want to take a look at the soccer? Because, as we pointed out, West Ham currently sitting top of the table, first place.
Oh, nice.
Back in action tomorrow, 7 a.m. We'll try to get up for it, but we'll see. Man City at Arsenal.
I'm out, boys. I got to finish eating. I'm starving.
All right. Well, that is clear. But
awesome. Have a good night.
And we do want to remind you, if you do eat,
love you.
And I guess, apparently people are supposed to eat at Canada Steak Burger. Please, we'll eat it. Or Sabores Colombianos. But only at one of those two places. I think they have chips and stuff at Corey's as well.
But don't
get
forget
a Hot Pocket or something at Corey's.
And they will check your ID.
And fuck the Yankees.
Of course. Anything less would be uncivilized. Thank you, CEO Nick. We will talk to you shortly. There he goes on the it's a triumvirate of all our sponsors that do provide food products. Hotline. Anyway, back to the soccer. Premier League tomorrow. Man City at Arsenal. Or, no, excuse me, Arsenal at Man City. Even better.
Yes.
Look, this is a dark time for Arsenal and not the ideal way to start the season when you're 0-2. Going to play the champions and the richest team and still the best team in the league.
Yeah, it's funny. I saw on TalkSport the other day, I think it was Jason Cundy was talking about, they were talking about because Arsenal, won their Carabao Cup game, whatever, 6-0 against, I don't even remember who they played. Might have been West Brom. I can't remember.
It's actually a team called Steve's Team.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a guy who just runs it in the park next to his house.
Steve's Lumber FC.
Exactly.
But it was funny because they were trying to start hyping up Arsenal, and his whole argument was like, okay, they just beat a bunch of kids because West Brom actually didn't even send any of their main players, which that also kind of tells you okay, when a league a lower level team is not even putting their best team out there for this, that gives you an idea what people think about the trophy. But there's just also look, Arsenal sent their best team. West Brom sent their second best team. Arsenal should win that game 6-0. I don't know why you're excited because they're going to get their brains beat out this weekend against Man City.
Yeah, eking out a 1 or even 2-0 win would also be a disappointment in that case. So it's all relative to what the other team puts out there against you and how they value that game. Moving down, everyone's favorite, Brentford, going on the road to Aston Villa.
Up the bees.
Up the bees. Killer bees on the swarm. Still early. Still already firmly from the very beginning. Every point counts for them. Not going to be all, fairy tales all season long. So get what you can out of that. Everton goes to Brighton. I have to say probably Everton in that game, but Brighton looked okay last week.
Brighton's a really good defense. Honestly, a 0-0 game wouldn't shock me at all in that one.
Yeah, I would not be at all surprised by that either. Southampton goes to Newcastle. I don't even really know how to pick that. I guess I'm going to go with the home team. But
Ronnie, your audio's off. I think you may have knocked the little nub out of place.
Oh, hold on. Let me check. Anything? I'm checking my nub here.
Still a little off. Weird.
Nub.
There we go.
Yeah? Huh?
Yeah. There we go. Now we're good.
Okay. Leicester, looking to rebound from their demoralizing, crushing defeat to the greatest team that's ever strapped on cleats, West Ham.
And to be fair, they're probably playing the best team that you could rebound against.
Yes, it's a good time to get right. Just like the Padres going up to Anaheim, maybe this is what you need right now at this point in your season. And of course, West Ham back at home. Love to see it. The crowd was great. First game back with a full, season, a home opener. Antonio gets the record. Scenes, as they say. Scenes all over. Crystal Palace, not a good team. Certainly would be a disappointment. It's hard to say a point is a disappointment, even with against any of these teams, because there's a baseline of how good they are. But I would verge, just teetering on the edge of not getting the 3 points would be a disappointment with the momentum that West Ham has right now. And you're going to need it later. These all count at the end.
Oh, no, for sure. You expect 3 points out of this. Kind of my whole philosophy with the Premier League is 3 points at home, 1 point on the road. You're set. So West Ham hosting a not very good Crystal Palace team. West Ham typically has done fairly well against them the last couple of years as well. So you're definitely expecting a win here, especially with, like you said, Antonio scoring goals like crazy. Benrahma being one of the most exciting creative players in the league so far early this season. Anything other than a win will be a disappointment. But West Ham, lads, it's a true West Ham fan will always have that that sense of dread in the back of their mind. They could lose. They could.
Yes. Anything can happen. We have a couple of comments via proxy through Allie by Jeff that in this country we don't watch that crap.
In this country,
And Crystal Palace has not been good since Buck Owens.
That's
died.
true.
Well, it certainly
That's
hasn't been the
actually
same.
a fact. That's
Absolutely
actually a
has
fact.
not been the same.
Yes.
Come back, Cake.
But probably the biggest game of the weekend, of course, we got Chelsea at Liverpool there, two of the top teams in the league right there, going off. It'll be interesting to see, like that, Van Dijk Lukaku matchup there. See what happens. This could be a slog. I could really see this one being a slog of a game just because both teams are so good, so stacked with talent at every position. It could totally be 0-0, maybe 1-0.
Well, the only thing I would say that makes it more interesting is if there is any kind of thing you would say is a weakness for Liverpool, it's sometimes they get a little weird defensively. And you could say the exact opposite about Chelsea, where it's just like, I mean, you do have good attacking players, but sometimes you just don't score for like 3 games for no reason. But they have a great defense. So styles make fights, that kind of deal. But we'll see how that plays out.
They won't have Kurt Zuma, although they haven't been playing him this year at all.
So yes. Shout out, though. He's come over to the light.
It's our boy.
Then you have Leeds, all action Leeds going to Burnley. That could be some kind of weird goal fest.
Get ugly.
Watford at Spurs, that's going to be ugly. That is for sure going to be ugly. Watford's just not good. And Spurs, now that Harry Kane has settled back, not leaving, never leaving. No, he didn't say that, but he's not leaving now.
I will never retire.
I will never retire. You got to go Spurs all the way on that. And then interesting news. It won't come into play tomorrow, I'm sure, or Sunday. But Man United going to play Wolves, a game they certainly should win. But on that note, he's back. Ronaldo is back. After hilariously getting down to like the 11th hour where it looked like he was going to go to City, which I kind of thought was a weird move for a couple reasons, just because City's already like a well-oiled machine. I mean, yes, you plug in Ronaldo, but, an aging Ronaldo, if he has a couple bad games and you don't want to start him or you subbing him off early or something, like that's not going to be good for anyone. Ronaldo is certainly not going to take that. And obviously he used to be on Man United, so there's that connection there. He's coming back. Good move for United, I have to say.
Yeah, I kind of liked him to City maybe a little bit more than you did, only because City doesn't have a pure strike. Like, they don't have a striker in the middle. Like, they run 3 men in the front, but they don't really have that man in the middle. They don't have that striker, that finisher, which that's what Ronaldo could have been. But no, I mean, you got to like the move to United, of course. I mean, him linking up with Bruno, I think, is definitely a fun thought. We'll see how it plays out because it didn't play out very well. Didn't play out
great in the Euros, but now they got a lot more time to get that thing back on track.
Exactly. So yeah, again, just kind of weird news that it was like all throughout the day, like, oh, he's going to City, he's definitely going to City, he's absolutely going to City. And they'd wake up this morning and it's like, oh, no, he's going to United. Okay, well, all right, sure, whatever.
Swerve.
I think Ken Rosenthal originally reported that he was going to City. I think that's what happened.
Yes, exactly. Bob Nightingale had it. He had that story nailed. And then who could have seen this coming? Real quick, we're not going to do a whole thing on the Europa League, but only as it pertains to us. West Ham, drawn in the group with I don't even know what. I don't know what GNK is. It's Croatian. Dinamo.
It's Belgian. What? Genk is Belgian.
Oh no, that's the second one. I was talking about the Croatian
one. Yeah. Dinamo's a grab. Yeah.
I know what Genk is. Come on, please.
It's true. Far be it from me to question your Belgian soccer knowledge.
Who doesn't know Genk? I mean, come on. Then of course our boys and Rapid Vienna or Rapid Wien. As you like to read it here in America.
That's true, yes. Yeah, I mean, look, it's when I look at this draw just for West Ham, I think it's very winnable, but when one team says that, every team is also saying that in the group, so who really knows? It's also obviously going to depend on, let's see how West Ham, if they can stay healthy or add some more bodies to the team as well, but I'm not disappointed with the draw. I definitely think it's very winnable. At the very least, West Ham can get second in that group and move on through.
And, again, you got to go on the road. Get flares thrown at you in Croatia. Maybe play in the snow in Austria. Who knows? I mean, weird things happen on those European nights, especially with the Europa League playing in the latter half of the week. And then you got to, probably got a Premier League game sometime over the next 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at the actual Champions League, the draw came out. Man City and PSG in the same group, you got to like that. Just knowing that you're going to get 2 games between them. But Leipzig, not a terrible team, but definitely outgunned here. Even Bruges, not that bad either, but there's 2 clear teams that's going to go through here and 2 teams that are also in the group. That's the polite way I can put it.
Yeah, when they drew this is actually kind of when the Ronaldo to City news first broke. So, because I remember texting you in the morning, like, of course, like, yeah, Ronaldo's going to City, and now he gets drawn against PSG when Messi is at PSG, because those 2 are just destined to do it forever. But now we're going to have to wait for that. So, yeah, that's definitely, you're looking at probably Leipzig is going to get that 3rd spot to, go down to the Europa knockout stage. But that's definitely a 2-team race in that group.
That was another part of Ronaldo's epic swerve when he was like, the draw's coming out. No one tells me what to do. All right, that's it. I'm going to Man United. Couple notables, but not really any like powerhouse down there in Group C. At Dortmund, but they've definitely seen better times in recent memory. You'd have to think they're getting out of that group, and then I could honestly take any of those other 3 to also get out of that group.
Yeah, definitely think Dortmund's got to be the favorite. Then beyond that, who knows? Sporting, I actually haven't. I know they won the Premier League last year, but I didn't get to see much of them, so I don't know kind of what Sporting looks like. But they're always the top 3 in Portugal. Ajax, always just look. We've talked about them a million times on here. Just they're going to score. They're going to score. We know that's what they're going to do. So they'll make at least for fun games. The Besiktas. I don't know if they're as big kind of as big as they have been traditionally, as far as just from a on-field talent standpoint, but watching those games in their stadium is just always fun because those crowds are turned up as fun.
Oh man, yeah, you are definitely hate some flares thrown at you anywhere in Turkey. Besiktas no different. Group B, pretty strong. I like this
That's
Group
a good
B.
group.
Atletico, Liverpool. I think they're just a little bit more. I don't know though. It's hard to say because I definitely see more of Liverpool on a weekly basis than I do Atletico. But Atletico has always been really good in this tournament for the last going on, 6 years now. So probably have them pinned in as the favorites, but again, still not exactly like punching bags in Porto and Milan there. So I think you could get some entertaining games rather out of Group B for sure.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with Group B. I think top to bottom, it might be the best group. That's probably the group of death in the Champions League this year. I still think it's probably Liverpool and Atletico's to lose. I mean, Jurgen Klopp and Simeone, 2 of the best managers in the world, right there. But don't be too shocked if Porto and Milan pull out some wins in that group because it's going to be a tough one.
That one, yeah. Just off the names, you got to say that's on paper the most prestigious one going. If you look at all the trophies involved, I think. Well, I don't know about Atletico, but I know the other 3 have all won the Champions League at some point in their history. So definitely a group to keep your eye on. Inter and Real Madrid going to be the 2 top dogs there. Shakhtar usually does field a pretty good team. They always just have 3 random, really good Brazilian guys getting paid a ton of money in Ukraine. And then my personal sentimental favorite, FC Sheriff Tiraspol, which I believe is in Macedonia. But
Yes.
I just like that they are sheriff in the name and a sheriff's badge on the crest.
That's right, laying down the law. But no, you're right on this one. I think it's definitely 2 clear favorites. Would be very much surprised in this one if Madrid and Inter don't make it through.
Agreed. And adding some intrigue, and I'm going to start actually with Group F because we just talked about Man United and Ronaldo. So yes, he is going back to Spain and Italy at different points here within the next few months. So that'll be entertaining. Villarreal has actually been kind of a team sneakily on the rise recently. You got to put Man United through, especially with all the moves they've been making, trying to right the ship over there. The Glazer family trying to not be stoned in the streets. So just doing whatever they can to not be violently assaulted. Atalanta, also a good team that's been sort of sneaky on the rise recently in Italy and the Champions League. And then young boys. Got to watch out for those young boys.
I got a feeling the young boys are going to be taking a massive whooping. Basically, they are the young boys of New Japan who just go out there and get their ass kicked by veterans. That's kind of what that is. But yeah, you're right. I think United's going through on this one. Probably Villarreal as well, but Atalanta, like you said, they're very good. Especially the last few years, they've been a very fun team over there in Italy to watch. But yeah, I think this one, the top two, is still pretty clear with Villarreal and United.
I agree. Going back, sort of the order established. Bayern and Barcelona, I'd like to see those two in a group together. Benfica, not a total pushover, but a little bit outclassed there. And Dynamo Kiev, more of a pushover than Benfica. So, what does that say? They're going to be in last in that group for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, once and that is the thing with a lot of these groups is just it seems like there's a handful of teams that are so dominant, year in and year out, and usually two of them get placed in the same group with this. So I think this one is pretty clearly top two. Although, who knows what's going on with Barcelona internally? They're still kind of reeling. So, I mean, maybe something happens, they screw up and Benfica can sneak in there. I don't know, but probably not.
Yeah, it definitely going to be some kind of weird. I mean, you can't just lose like one of the best players ever in the history of your team, especially that's saying a lot because how good that team always is. So that's going to be a little bit of a culture shock for a little bit, but a lot of teams in the Spanish league they can beat up on and get some momentum going, and we'll see how they're looking, when they get to this group stage games. Down to Group G, got to be one of the softer groups. But you would think Sevilla would win, but also how are they going to get in the Europa League to get in the final if they win or get in the top two here? Throws everything off.
That is true. Like, yeah, Sevilla known for winning the Sevilla. Although, you know what? Maybe they're really going to try because they don't want to play West Ham. Maybe maybe that's the fit this year.
Get out of this group, please, to clear a path for West Ham to win the Europa League.
But yeah, this is definitely going to be Lille defending champs in France, Sevilla defending Europa League champions. This is probably going to be a walkover for the top two, for more so than any of the other ones I've said. Like, there's a clear top two. Probably this one. Like, that's no question.
Oh, I also want to give a shout out to the comments. Sippy. See you, brother. Southern Miss to the top. That's right. College football is upon us. So
right.
Cannot wait for that. Apparently, Jock made a nice catch. So, yes, agree. Fuck the Giants for life.
Always.
And, I guess you could maybe say that if they were in the tournament. But we'll never know. I guess we'll never know.
Actually, they did do the Europa Conference League draw. I didn't see who Tottenham got. I imagine they're probably playing a couple MLS teams. Maybe like a local AYSO squad in their draw. I'm not sure.
At least, yeah, they don't have to worry about Pacos de Ferreira for a while. So, because that could be a problem. But that team just knows they can beat them.
It's true.
Clearly. And their whole marketing thing is planned off just knowing they can beat them. Chelsea and Juventus definitely got to be the two teams going through here. Malmo, Swedish league just isn't that good. I mean,
no.
They get they get Europa League too, but you do get a team one in the Champions League. So the best team in Sweden is, I would still have to say, even worse than Zenit St. Petersburg. But again, there's no way that either of those two teams are going to get past Chelsea or Juventus there.
Yeah, even though Juventus just lost Ronaldo, I'm sure they will still have no problem getting through the group stage.
Still very loaded, and shout out to Weston McKennie holding it down and getting the vote of confidence also when he was rumored to be on the move somewhere in the Premier League. But no, Juventus wants him. And I think he fits in the Italian style very well. Just kind of like box to box destroyer, but it can also give you some goals and make some stuff happen. So there is the Champions League draw. I want to swerve back over here to my annoying button layout. Thank you. Let's talk about it. Sippy, it's a great time of year. College football starts back up tomorrow. As we said, a little appetizer. Not really getting to, early on, you don't really get a ton of good games, but once you get into like the second and third week, you usually get that one, game day game or just occasional early season games. I know, obviously, Clemson and Georgia. And then, as Tyler brought up, Alabama and the U. So that's coming up next week. But, it's just good to have it back, honestly. The classic rivalry of UConn and Fresno State. Throw out the record books when they get together.
Right.
Watch out.
That's right. Yeah, look, it's nothing that's going to blow you away on paper, but hey, man, it's college football. I'm totally going to watch it. Definitely been feeding for it for a while. So, hey, look, you're going to get a nice battle of two pretty bad Big Ten teams to start the day there between Nebraska and Illinois. Hawaii UCLA could be fun. You do kind of know what you're going to get with Hawaii. You just don't know the quality of what you're going to get with Hawaii. So, we'll see how that game turns out.
I do wish it was, in Hawaii, so that way it could be at 12:30 a.m. instead of p.m.
Yeah, that one's going to be that was. And as Justin points out here, could be a trap game for UCLA because maybe they're looking ahead. They might be looking ahead next week to LSU. So Hawaii could sneak up on you really, really fast.
Yeah, they're going to put points up. But yeah, you just don't know. Kind of every couple of years, I just don't exactly know what Hawaii you're going to get. But assume points. That's all I could say.
But definitely, again, looking forward to that one. And hey, look, even get a nice late game there with San Jose State. See if they can kind of repeat the magic they had last year and maybe force their way back into the top 25.
I just remember that Braden randomly he bought like this huge thing of like 50 used golf balls on Amazon because he was like, I'm just going to lose all these balls anyway. And had a pretty good run going randomly with a San Jose State monogrammed golf ball that became his favorite, but I'm sure it's at the bottom of a lake somewhere now.
Wow.
On that note, let's take a look at the golf before we shut it down.
Ooh,
and
nice
slide into the
segue.
weekend.
Nice segue.
BMW Championship going on. We're at the point in the season where it's kind of cool to see. These are the guys that have really been just really good all year. Bryson is fire and ice, though. Like, you can totally tank it, but he's still, I believe, like the 6th or 7th ranked guy in the world. Comes out today and goes 12 under. Insane. 60 on I believe the yardage is like over 7,400 yards on this course, too. So he was built to destroy it, as so many other things that he has always destroyed. Go! Whoa, man, take it easy. Even he can't believe it.
There we go.
The power, just the power. But
the Chowchilla champ right there.
Just a unit, absolute unit. But you see the card. Geez, 2 eagles. That's purely because he just hit the ball extremely far, both on par 5s. I don't know how many birdies we got here on the card. 5 in the front 9 to go with the eagle, and 3 in the back to go with another eagle. So just missed getting a 59, but also in the most Bryson way possible, he did miss a 6-foot putt.
Of course.
To not get the 59. So that's unfortunate.
Truly in the spirit.
Or maybe the even more Bryson thing would be missing the tap in.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he's truly the
But
the next
the Modesto
generation
Masher
of
will be
David.
back out there with a healthy lead. Even Rom, who's been great all year, your champion. But you see, if you have a day like that, you can jump out in front of even these guys that are really good. Even Xander is right below this screenshot that it didn't fit. I think he's tied for 10th right now. Rory's kind of had a nice little comeback season. Abe Answer has had a really good season. Burns also. So a lot of names up there. Not really surprised at that. We'll see what happens. Actually, I think I'm going to have to switch cameras, Tyler, if you want to take us over to the I think we had the NASCAR thing in here somewhere, but I'm going to have to switch over.
Yeah, I got us. Yeah, like Ronnie, while Ronnie's switching, kind of last thing we have this weekend is the last race heading into the NASCAR playoffs. Here you can see the standings. I know it's kind of small print, so I do apologize for that. But pretty much most of the spots are decided at this point in time. You can see the cutoff there. The 16th, the battle between 16 and 17. That's kind of the only real battle, unless, of course, somebody not listed here wins. Then once you win, you get you automatically get a spot in the next round. So, you're pretty much just looking at a two-man race at that point in time. Our guy Kevin Harvick, pretty much sealed his spot. So, not to worry about him, but. Last race before the playoffs, so definitely got to check that one out. I believe they are racing. No, they are racing on Sunday. I thought maybe it was a Saturday race, but
well, not anymore. Now that you said that, now I'm only going to see that, so that's a great point. Just to touch back on the golf here. Tony Finau, where he be now? I'm not sure actually. It didn't fit in the screenshot, so I'm not positive on that. He was playing, someone in the afternoon. It looked like, so he's not doing terrible, but I don't know. To answer your question, I do not know where he be now.
And Nick, I was trying to forget it until you said this. Thank you very much, you dickhead.
Yes, boxing continues its slow, drawn-out, painful death. I will not watch it, and I'll probably just see people on Twitter talking about it, maybe. And not by seeking it out. I'm sure people will just be talking about it. But kind of what I said at the beginning, I feel like NASCAR is headed towards a weird offseason because a lot of the top guys it just seems like they've been having issues with the new ideas and stuff they're trying to. I don't know. NASCAR is just kind of having an identity crisis right now. They're trying to do things to get new viewers in there. It's not really working, but then you're also alienating the NASCAR base. So you go to Indianapolis, but you don't race on the oval, you race on the road course. I kind of like to see some of the more road courses they put in, but they kind of went a little maybe too much for NASCAR this year with that. The whole Circuit of the Americas thing, really just not a track that NASCAR cars should be on. Just not, never the two shall meet in that way. So a lot of drivers were pissed off about that. The playoff thing has already been a pushback for a lot of years. And it's sort of just like a pile on now with all these other things. I'm trying to think of what track it was, maybe New Hampshire, where they let them all go out and it was clearly raining and it was massive wrecks everywhere. But they won't give them rain tires. They're we're working on it, but it's not ready yet. So I don't know. The NASCAR is in a weird state right now.
Yeah, for sure. It's I don't know. You're right. It definitely has been a weird season. It just, you do feel like the more stories you hear are about the issues with drivers or the issue with the system or anything like that rather than the actual racing. So, yeah, you're right. It could be an interesting offseason for them, but hey, they got to get through the playoffs first. So let's see how that pans out.
Harvick still got a shot.
He's there. He's there.
He's in there. But no, that was the only last thing I wanted to touch on. So, guys, enjoy the weekend. Football is upon us, at least college football, and NFL not too far behind. So just, be happy for what we got. Sorry, Padres, but also LOL Padres. Maybe next year. I mean, the team still you're not gonna fire the players, like I said. So give it another shot if you don't make it. But I'm looking forward to catching what I can over the weekend. Because of fantasy football, I'm a little light on my disposable income, so I probably won't be playing golf. So I probably will be at home watching sports on TV.
That's right. Hopefully everybody's got their fantasy football drafts coming up soon, rather than already having done them. Like I did see, Travis Etienne out for the year already. So if you had a draft and got him, sorry, but that's why you should always draft towards the beginning of the season rather than the off.
Or if you had his name. Is it Henderson?
Tim Tebow? Tim Tebow, if you had him.
Well, that's a shame. I mean, but I'll have the jersey I'll cherish forever. But The Rams signing Sony Michel. Now it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you might be screwed if you drafted their running back.
Glad I took James White really late because now he's getting more touches. So I'm happy with that.
Belichick running backs.
It's Belichick, so yeah, maybe he won't.
Good luck. But as we get closer, we'll definitely dive more into the fantasy aspect of things. I do want to say thank you to everyone that joined us. Thank you to CEO Nick for calling in, Justin in the comments, Sippy in the comments, Southern Miss to the top. See you, Darren. We'll get back with you guys on Monday, and that's all I got.
Yeah, same. Enjoy the weekend. Come on, you Irons. We love you guys. You know the drill. Keep the fire.
At the buzzer.